Hello and welcome. In this tutorial, you will learn how to use Insydium MeshTools, PolyFX and X-particles to transform 3D models into cubic digital forms in Cinema 4D. Let's dive in and create stunning cubic designs together. I will start with the very simple cube and sphere to compare the PolyFX and MeshTools together to have a better understanding it. We just in Cinema 4D create a simple cube here. And in this cube, we have segment numbers and we can add to it. If you don't see the segments on the object, just easily on the keyboard use NG, NB. And if you add segments, you can easily see it on the viewport. So for now, I will use 4, 4, and 4 that we can have a better imagination of our cube. And here we see that every part and every surface is easily divided, and you can imagine that every surface here can be a 1 pixel, and we want to use a technique to reveal all of them one by one. For this we will use PolyFX. If you in keyboard use Shift C and write PolyFX and here double click, and you have here PolyFX and just put it as a children of your cube. Here is nothing happening because if you select the PolyFX in effectors, here is empty and we should add some effectors here. Now we need for our PolyFX and effector, we can use plain effector or shader or random effector. Just let's start with plain effector, and when we select it, because our PolyFX already selected, he put it here effector, and just here you can deactivate and activate it, or you can delete it here and just drag it here, and you will see immediately the effects on the position. And if you go to the plain effector and you see the position is activated on the default, so you can play with it, you can add to it and say, for example, Z or Y, in which direction to move the surfaces, but we don't need the position. If you activate the rotation, also you can rotate the polygons. Also, we don't need the rotation. All what we need is just to activate a scale, and we just put it on uniform scale and absolute scale, and now we just make it smaller, and you see beautifully when you go, for example, minus to -1, they are totally disappear. And this is exactly what we want, because we want one by one they will be showing the surface and polygons. But how we can reveal them one by one? For this we must go select on plane effector and just on the field, and here we can select and use a different fields. For example, we can start with the box field, and here is the position of our box, and we can with the T just scale it a little bit, and E just move it to the top, and now start revealing one by one. But if you move here, we see still at the very beginning the box is there, and just we will see that they are scaling down, but we need to invert it. It means we don't see anything, and the pixels revealing, or LED lamps or the polygons here revealing. For this we just need to select the box field and go to the invert and invert it. And as soon as inverted, you see we don't see anything, and we just move and they start revealing. But still something is not right, because we wanted just be 100% zero and 100% showing. But if we move the field, you see they are slowly start growing, and this is not what we want. But we have a good, very easy solution for this problem, and we just come to the contour, and in the contour mode from now we will select a step. And if we select a step, and you see here they just showing like 0 and 1, and now we have more flexibility. If we just scale the field and now move it, they're just revealing like as we wish, like digital LEDs, like you can imagine it, that more realistic look. Now we can play with it and scale it, and this is exactly what we were looking for. And you can change also your fill. If you deactivate it and go to the plane effector, you can add totally spherical fill, and also with T you can scale it. You see we see the box, and if you bring it again, this is not how it look like, because we wanted like still they are very smooth and they are scaling very smooth, and we must go here again to the counter and do it again and choose the step. And now if you move it, it's created very beautifully like a digital surface or digital LEDs, and you can scale it and move it and create your digital simulation as you wish. We don't have any thickness here, and for this we can easily go and select closed surface and drag it here and put the cube on it, and you can here the thickness, for example, put it 2 or 10. You can create thickness easily for your surface here and polygons, and we can move and see now it created for us a different form of the object. You can use it even this technique for your modeling. Also you can come here and remove this, because factor just created some giving some curviness. We don't need this, we just want to be straight. You can add more subdivision to it, and now again you can play with it and you can have lots of fun. We can use the same technique for another object here, for example sphere. We change the type to octa, and because we want all of this triangle 1 by 1 reveal, we just put the segment 50 and shift C here, and we will select again PolyFX and put it here as a children, and again nothing is happening because we need an effector, and this time we can use a shader effector. And shader effector, PolyFX effectors here is you can deactivate and activate it, and in parameters you see the scale is selected as a default, and if you deactivate it and activate position, you can use it for the position, and also like any select effectors you can use it for rotation, position and scale. But for this tutorial we need only absolute scale, and you can make it -1. Then we don't see anything, everything is gone, disappear. Then for revealing it we just need a fill. We will use a spherical fill, and if you move it again you will see that scale it a little bit to be the size of our sphere. Just scale it and now E and move it, and we're revealing the surface. But still same problem we have, because the surfaces are very smoothly scaling. This is not what we want. We want just be 0 and 100% scale it down, then 100% scale it up. For this we go again here and in contour mode select the step, and now is exactly what we want. Just we can reveal 1 by 1 the surface, and you can use it like this can be used as a digital surface or LED, or for this tutorial this is what we want to use. In shader effectors also we can use some shader, and this make it more beautiful, because here all of them are revealing together, but we won't have some randomness here, and so you can go add shader here, and we can use a noise effector. And if we can use some noise effector, and you can see here you add in some contrast to it, you see, and you make it contrast to 100, and now we can add some randomness to it, and you can see we'll make it, for example, some of them are already there, some are not there, and you can play with the different shaders. For example, you can you can remove it here and add a gradient shader, and also with the gradient you can play and select other type of gradients. And here also you can, if you see here again the same problem, that they are revealing very smooth, because we have here a very gradient. We should only right click here and change the interpolation to step, and again the same, and if you reveal it will be same, like everything from 0 to 100 will be revealed. And you can also animate this and create your own effect. Just change it to you, and you can play with it, or you can use, for example, spherical, and create different effects and movement. You can add some turbulence to it, just randomness, and now create it more beautiful simulation, just playing like with gradient. And you can imagine that this can be a surface or a digital, and you can play with it, you can give a material light on it, and will be so beautiful, cool simulation. Now we will use the different techniques but the same results. We will use MeshTools. Just create a cube here and go here, Insydium MeshTools, and here we will use polyscale to reveal the polys, and Shelgen to give the thickness, and subdivider to divide and give random shape of the surface. So we just click and drag our cube here to see the segments NG and B, and we can see that subdivision you can add to it, you can decrease, and if you, for example, put on 2, and here you can also put shader and give it the random. If you play with tolerance, give just the random distribution of the polys. You can also play with the shader, for example, give it more contrast, the noise, and also have control on it. For now we keep it how it is, and now we just go and choose polyscale and drag it here. And in polyscale we will add here the amount just to scale all of, because we'll want to be scale everyone one by one. Just add the amount here, as you can see, easily and quickly created for us. And then we can also here can add some shaders here. It can be noise, can be gradient like before. You can add noise shader. You can also play with it, for example, more contrast. And if you come here and with tolerance, you can also play, but nothing is happening because we wanted to also revealing them, that they are not exist at the beginning, and then one by one they're revealing and showing. For this we just have here hide faces, and we just click, and if you click, all of them are hidden quickly, and now you can reveal them slowly with the tolerance. But if you remove it and now put another noise, and now you can see they are randomly revealing, which is very beautiful, because we wanted to just kind of like simulate they are like a digital surface, or every surface can be like a digital LED, you can imagine it. And just now we can reveal it here, and even if you click here just with contrast you can play, and you can with brightness you can play, you can animate even the brightness, or you can scale it, for example 300, and if you animate it, will make it less effect on the surface. You have a lot of freedom here. You can also animate the tolerance here, and even you can say we don't want the shader like a noise, we want a gradient, and also the gradient, also the same story, you can animate it here. The gradient you can change a different shape, for example, and also animate it and give you same results. Here you have a lot of control, also turbulence, As we can see in previous PolyFX technique, they are almost same technique, but everything here is quicker because you have access to everything faster compared to PolyFX, and you can build and try and error faster and provide for your clients faster previews and save time. For adding some thickness, you can here shell and click and drag it easily here, and the thickness you can give the number. The maximum angle, we just put it 0, and this is amazing that we can add here also to the cube more segments, for example 3, 3, 3, and turn it totally to digital LED. And now if you back to the poly scale, and now we can play with it, and we can easily with just few click created our simulation. Now we will jump to create our countdown using same simple technique. Now we start with our countdown number. We just go to the text and add here text. We choose number 1, but the number 1 we need a little bit more beautiful and more digital. So for this you can go and select whatever font you like. I will choose my font for it that look more digitally. Now we created our number 1 object, and if you select NG, NB, you can see the segment that we have no segment on this. We will turn this text to a poly object with a C, and we'll create it for us an object of like extrude object, but we don't need also as an extrude. We just need a one poly object, and just right click here and turn it connect object and delete. And now we have only one object. And if we go to the surface here and we select here, we want it to be separated, we just right click and split it. When we split, create it for us just splitted surface. We delete the original one and keep here, and we call it 1. Now we will go to Insydium and MeshTools. Here we need first to add some subdivider. Just add it here, and we can make it 2 or 3. As you can see, the surfaces are not equal. They're like this, and the one is like this, and one is smaller, and here is bigger, and this is not what we want. And for just to simulate a kind of digital surface, we need all of them to be like all of them almost same cubic surface that they are revealing. And for this, what we need to do, we will use here our remesh and drag it here and just wait. And as you can see, he created for us beautifully cubic surface, almost not 100%. Now there are a lot of cubes. We can, with the mesh density, we can play with it and make it a little bit less. Then if we put it 50%, and he will create it for us a bigger cubic look. Or you can make it, for example, 30. Now I'm happy with this. Then we need to scale the surface here, scale it down. And for this we will use our poly scale and drag it here. And in poly scale you go to the amount, we just select amount, and now you can bring it down. And now we need to reveal all of the surfaces one by one. For this we will use a shader. It can be noise shader and the tolerance, but they are always here. And if you add it and the amount, you see we want to hide them, and just we go and hide the scales, and now we can animate the tolerance and beautifully randomly revealing. And this can be like a digital number for you that you can created, and this is one of the ways to use the shader like a random. You can remove the shader as a noise and add gradient, and if you go here and in gradient also you can animate the gradient here. For example, if you use the spherical, and you see here you can also animate it and create it another form of animation. And let's right click here and just change it to a step, and this will make it easier for us. You see, you can reveal it and hide it so easily. And if you right click and invert it, will be for you just another animation. We don't see it now, we see it. And if you want to make it more random happen here, you can just turbulence, add a little bit noise to it, and then start again, animate it. So this is also another way that you can reveal and create and play with it. Let's remove the shader and back to only just the noise and animate the tolerance. And you can here, for example, start from 20 and make a keyframe and just come to the 30 in 1 second. We won't be created. 81 for example, or 82, and just click here and create a keyframe, and now it's created. And now we can use the shellgen to just add some thickness to it, because here is only 2D, we don't have any thickness. And just come here and thickness you can add, for example, 80 or 50, and angles 0, and we will see now if it's working again. Just come to 0 and play it. Everything worked perfectly. And you can also make it a little bit more slowly, and you see how it's created. And we have now the surface. We can now use, this is okay for us, and for now we wanted to every digital have like a kind of light on it, every surface. For this we will use xparticle. We will go to Insydium and xparticle. To be organized, I will add it here in utilities, and if you play by default, xparticle created for us a rectangle emitter, and we just come here and object, we select object, because we want all particles be created on the surface of the number, and we call this number 1, and in here we drag it in object, and let's play and see. And when we are playing, the particles are emitting from the surface because speed is activated. If we go emission and speed, we make it 0, and now it's randomly created, but some of them don't have, some of them they have. This also can be a cool effect. Just go to display to see better and change the display to a box, or we change it to a sphere. We can see better the particles, and if you can imagine, they can be an LED surface or LED lamps. If you give it just light material, it'll make it very beautiful and very simple. But we want all of surface have one particle. For this we just select, we go on emitter object, and we select stick particle to the source, and when you click it, but still it's like something unusual happening, that they are moving. This can also be a, for your simulation, cool effect. This can for someone work, but for us we wanted to have everything fixed. Then here we will use one particle per source, and we click and activate it, and when we play it, then everything will work perfectly. Every surface will have a particle on it. But one last thing we must do is we just go to emission, and in emission rate, the birth rate, we change it to 1, because we want for every surface only one particle be created. and then this is what we exactly want. If you see, the particles are slowly moving, and if you go closer here, this is not natural, it's not normal. We want it all stick and don't have this movement when they are creating. For this, you only need to go to emission and in the mode, change it from simulate to motion. And now everything is fixed. Why should be a motion mode? Because the object, the poly scale is moving and it's like creating, and in the scale is a kind of motion for xparticle. And if you change it to simulate, let's back again, simulate legacy, and you see they are moving, a kind of jiggering or just a small movement which is like look like a bug for us. And if you just come simply and on mode and click motion, then they are perfectly stick to every surface. And now we have created our number, and every surface has his own LED lamp, or here every surface has its own particle. Now it's time to render the particles and give them some light material. Very quick and very simple and very easy to see how it look like everything. For this we just go to the render setting and select the Redshift, and here if you click here, and you will see that there is nothing here, we don't see particles. And for this we just must go on XP emitter and right click and render tags, give the RS object. And in RS object particles, we just select the mode to spheres, and quickly we can see them here. Here the scale, we can play with it, make it smaller or even bigger. And now we need to add some light on it. For this we just come material and we select incandescent, if I correctly pronounce it, and just drag it here on emitter, and quickly they have the light on it. But the object, the number 1 object, also has some light on it on default. So we just go to render setting, advanced, globals, and remove default light. We don't want to see it, we just want to see the, and if we render again, they start with darker. And we just can create a surface, a plane, that we can see better the reflection on it. And in the light we can just change the color here, whatever you wish, and make it here the intensity stronger. And we just need a material, standard material, and drag it on our number 1, because on the surface, and we can turn this here to give a little bit transmission to 1. You can give it a little bit roughness and change the color here to red. Make it red to see a little bit contrast with the light, or you can change it to another a little bit darker. Just play around and just see what you can do with it. The light also, you can from color go to the temperature and change it to different, for example more white. And if you animate again, you see they are creating and they are revealing one by one. This was exactly as we wish, that all of them reveal one by one like an LED lamps. Just let's render a frame and see how it look like everything. And look like everything is working. Now we will use same technique that we used for the number for our model here, and we want to be reveal all of the surfaces one by one like a digital LEDs. So first of all, if you look at the surface, they are not the shape that we want, they are like a triangle. We wanted them to be a rectangle. For this we just select here remesh and drag it here, and just wait a few seconds and remesh will calculate, and he created for us equally rectangular surface, and here on the remesh we just, the density we can change it to 50 or make it like 20, and I think I'm happy with this. We just keep it as it is, and we just here in Insydium and we mesh tools, we just go here Insydium mesh tools, and we will select our poly scale, we drag it here, and we will create our amount again, a little bit like 15%, that we have a little bit more space between the surfaces. And anytime you see you have too many of the surfaces, you can, on remesh density, you can change it, for example, to 3 from 20 and see how it will look like. Maybe 3 will look for us more beautiful, but if we go to the poly scale and we select the noise and we animate again tolerance, let's activate height scale, and it will show all of this randomly, but we don't want to be randomly shown. We want from bottom to the top to all of this created, these surfaces. For this we will need to use a vertex map. So we will deactivate everything and we just go on select our object, and here click here, for example select it, and just go to the select and set vertex, and okay, all of it is red now. And here if you select our vertex map is created on an object, we just select use fill and it freezes automatically, and we just go on mode and change it to grow, and when we play it's growing but very fast. So we can make the effect strength, for example 20, will be more slowly growing, and the radius, for example 5. I think this is very good speed. I am happy with it. You can see slowly growing from bottom to the top, and this color show the effect that can happen on our simulation here. Then we will activate again remesh, and now we will activate polyscale. But if we play, nothing is happening, nothing changed, because we should go select in polyscale and go to the field and drag our vertex map here as a field. And now very quickly is happening, and if just come again on object, let's see playing slowly. If you see, is hiding the scales, but we want to unhide it, so we want everything be hide, then make it unhide. Then we select the hide non-scale, and now if you play, it's creating exactly how we want it to be created. Still is a little bit fast. Maybe we can go again here and change the effect strength, for example 10%, and let's see how it's work. Or make it radius 1, 2. Yes, I think this speed is much better. Now we have created a very beautiful, more organic from bottom to the top, and for this we can also play with it with the tolerance. You can use combination of it or and see how we'll make it for us look better. And now we need just add some depth to this, to the surface. We just come select here again, shell gen, and drag it here, and the thickness we put it, for example 1. Angle we don't need, and create for us very beautiful object, totally new look. And if you play it, can look like a digital LEDs, then they are creating this model. And now we just need to add the last part, to add some particle on it. Just go Insydium X-particle. We'll do like at the beginning. First of all, we just come here and connect all of the models as an object. we call it, for example, head, and drag it here to utilities. In emitter, we just select object and drag our head here, and if we play, every particle is moving from the surface. We just come to emission and we make the speed 0, and stick particle to the source we select, and also 1 particle per source, because we'll create only 1 particle. And as you can see, the particles are dancing on the surface. We don't want this. We just need to go here in emission and to the last things. First of all, the burst rate, we make it only 1, because we want to create 1 particle per surface, and also the mode, we change it to the motion because the surface is moving. Now everything looks great. So we go here again and display and change it to the surface to sphere. You can come to the emission again, come back and make it 1 or 2 to see how it look like on the surface. And again, as before, you can select in Redshift your favorite material and also put the light on the particles and use your creativity and see how you can create cool motion graphic with other 3D models and objects. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more tutorials, and feel free to leave any questions or comments below. Happy creating!